Okay, so I'd like you to just say, closing here, what would you say to Headroom and what they mean to you?
Headroom, I love you guys, to my family. It's kind of hard something to say. It's you changed my life for the better. You made me understand what music is and what it does to your soul spiritually, and how it can make a rainy day turn into a sunshine day, all because of a couple lyrics and a couple notes, which they can fit together perfectly.
Sometimes I get beside myself on the road running away, I'm burning out on the empty place, breaking me down. Justify the reasons why I'm standing here, and the I'm a blur. Feel that sand inside of faith running away, I'm burning out an empty place, breaking me.
So Billy, when the first time I mentioned the word Headroom, what do you think about it?
Unbelievable band. They should have made it, but you know, like they say, you know, you got to be in the right place, the right time. But
when I mentioned the band Headroom, what's the, in a sentence or a word, how would you describe them?
Lazy.
So when I mention the word Headroom, what's the first thing or the first sentence that comes to your mind?
My boys rocking.
Yeah.
Rocking full time and all the time. Them boys rocked.
Yeah. There you go.
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Sounds like the other one is. It's a bad cable. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
These are my friends, the band Headroom from Oklahoma City, part of the flyover country. They never became famous. They were one of the also-rans. But as I grow older, the meaning of success changes. Their legendary music touched so many lives even to this day. And when I met them for the first time, somehow the stars aligned. This is their story. But first, a little background story on me, the filmmaker. This was me. Or should I say used to be me. Needless to say, I wasn't the most happiest boy on the block. And this is me today. Please excuse the wrinkles. When I lost the weight, I felt a little like Rip Van Winkle out of a long snowy sleep. Women became possible and life became some drunk juice resurrection. In 2002, I was invited out to Old Classic Rock in Oklahoma City. Here I met a local rising band. And over the next 10 years, I became one of their friends. And still am to this day, along with many others. You know, they always ask the filmmaker, why did you pick the subject? I'd say this. I believe in the fates. Something unforeseen. It comes at a time in your life when you need a place to reside, a sense of community, a sense of friend and belonging. This is what Headroom did for me. Okay, enough about me now. And on to the boys. The members of Headroom are Daniel Lee, Michael Lee, Jeremy Spivey, and Justin Hogan. Most of them grew up in the sleepy farm town of Yukon, just outside of Oklahoma City. As all young boys who picked up a guitar at that time, they were heavily influenced by the thriving Nirvana grunge era. As teens, they started out as broken toys. And as the evolution grew, they took on Justin from the band The Other Side, whose members included Gabe Barham of the Banditos and Austin Barham, their close friend and drummer from the punk band Spooky Food. Then came the band demise with Daniel, Mike, and Justin, and Richie Hayes on bass. They then changed their name to Amniotic as Jeremy Spivey joined the band. This then solidified the four-piece group. 2 years later they became known as Headroom, as now all the pieces were in place. Throughout the early to mid-2000s, they opened for big bands of that era, with the likes of Chevelle, All American Rejects, 30 Seconds to Mars, Mindless Self-Indulgence, and Hinder. Their future looked bright and glistening. As for me, I think of these days often, the drunk, staggering, pilled-up nights, monster epic dreamy road trips, the lovely friends. Life was in the here and now, the bright horizon of all our careless youth. And this band was the reason this hot spark was lit. In this life, my life, our lives. And so it happened. This idea, the idea for this band to have another go, a reunion show. They hadn't played together in 5 years, and their 10-year anniversary as a band was fast approaching. Maybe it was set to test the old adage you can't go home again. But if anyone could break that old rule, they would be able to. Is Yukon, obviously it's a small town in Oklahoma, and it's highly religious or not religious, or?
Yeah.
Did you feel those influences as a kid?
Yeah, 20-year-old me would comment that high school sucked and my little small town sucked, and I didn't fit in, and it seemed like everybody was against me.
Mm-hmm.
But, as an adult with a little higher thinking, I don't think that I really had much different of a life than any other kid in any other small town. I don't know.
So it's a good small town. I mean,
yeah,
I don't want to say anything worse about it.
And I can't think of a better place for me to have grown up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, at the time, right afterwards, for a few years afterwards, I for sure would have been like, Yukon's the worst place ever or whatever. And it's really hard on a kid.
Right. But that might be just growing up.
Now as an adult, I think just being a kid is hard though.
Right.
It's not necessarily that I was in Yukon.
Or that you had it pretty good, for the most part.
Or maybe I had a lot better than I thought I did. Yeah,
right.
I've compared it to some people now, and
right.
Maybe I had a lot better than I thought I did. It's not like we had money.
Right.
It's just having normal people. I guess that's what it is. There are schools that shall remain nameless that are a little north of here, where the rich kids live, and I can't imagine being the country kid that I was going to school with those rich kids.
It'd be a big conflict.
At the same school. Yeah, it would have been really, really hard.
But you guys are all...
Yukon happened to be, even the kids that had more money, they have more money because their dads are farmers.
Right.
Not because their dad's a lawyer.
Right.
And they have just as much money as the fucking lawyer, but they reinvest it every day into their...
Right.
Into more seeds. And,
so it's like you didn't feel the sting of class, I guess.
Right, yeah. Everybody's pretty much the same class. The people that have money worked for their money instead of went to school and do nothing.
So that makes you feel more, I would say, better about it, maybe, because they're more earthy and didn't show it off like they do in Edmond or someplace like that, right? I mean, I could say Edmond. Why not?
I was trying not to say it.
But it's true. I mean, in Edmond, I mean...
Yeah, I can't imagine having stayed in Edmond and got to a grade where I can't afford a car and the kid next to me has a Bentley and a BMW and a fucking...
And lets you know about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to ride home with that kid.
Right.
He wouldn't pull into my neighborhood.
Right.
The roads were too bad on his fucking BMW.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It being all more or less all the same class probably really helped.
Right. Well, that's good.
I'm taking your picture.
Where'd you get that marker? Looks like you've had a hold of it without some supervision for a minute, huh? This is my baby girl, Claire Jean.
How you doing? Good.
You did what? You bring this out? Oh, you're being good? Is that what you said? She said I'm being good.
Oh.
This is my baby. This is why I'm here. Find your spiritual path and make one of these a good one. Make a good one of these, huh? This is what? It's your broken, what's that guy's name? Buzz. I remember now.
Buzz Lightyear?
Yeah. This is your Buzz Lightyear markers? She's into Toy Story and the boyish little kid cartoons more so than the early ones.
Really?
She likes adventure and action, not necessarily primping and
right.
love story crap.
You proud of that?
Yeah! That's the way it should be. What's that? Oh, Dora's coming? Every time she hears an airplane, she thinks Dora's coming to get her. Because Dora rides an airplane in one of her episodes.
Aww.
That's where she learned the word airplane.
From Dora.
Dora's riding an airplane, and so it goes hand in hand. There's an airplane over the sky. She runs out in the yard and goes, Dora, Dora.
You like Dora?
I like Dora. You go see Mama? So me and Pat can finish? You just woke up. You got crazy hair. Hey, go see Mama. Come on.
Finally, I'm in.
Oh.
Now I shall put it on this and hope that it stays. I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, that's not. That's not us.
I remember the one riff. You're the one that gave it to me. I remember the one riff that's all that riff, but.
Oh.
Yeah.
Come on, Hogan. This ain't Headroom.
That is.
It's Champagne or
No, it's Headroom. It's Headroom. That ain't
That guitar tone is way too good to have Justin involved.
It was recorded with.
Oh, that's right, because the camera's on. That's good.
Alright.
These are all the songs he recorded. With Tommy? Yep.
You have a comment for that, Justin?
I was never kicked out.
Oh no.
What is never kicked out mean?
Oh, that was a low blow.
Oh, I didn't even get it. That was a low. Sorry, stupid stoner here. I think I was kicked out twice, actually.
You weren't kicked out.
No, you kicked out once. No, the band broke up and reformed.
From what Jeremy told me, he was the only one that had saved any money for what was to be their last trip to LA. The other three members were going to find jobs once they got there.
No, you wouldn't go, remember?
Spivey decided to quit at that point, feeling they would rely on him when times would be tough.
You go to Las Vegas. I'm like, what a dick! You wouldn't move to Las
I'm not. No.
You wouldn't go to LA.
You forget the story. The story went. I got $2,000.
Which one is it?
I got $2,000 saved up. How much do you have? And you say, I'm taking my last paycheck. And I go ask Daniel, and he says, I'm taking my last paycheck. And I'm like, I'm not going to LA. I'm not going to LA with y'all, dude.
And it worked just, no, it worked just fine, dude. We survived.
Well, they'll be in 3 bands again. It's not
That's
4.
what you thought. You thought that, well, I would automatically, when you said that, I never responded to you. Because
well, that's what I'm saying. It's completely pointless. Like, I might as well take my shit.
It don't matter.
No, if I
all he
can,
has to do is fucking remember his parts and go over his parts. Once he knows his parts, because he doesn't play when we play anything. Who's Wild Wee Box is that?
Spot's missed himself off.
I'm pissed that you agreed to this and you won't commit.
What the fuck am I doing here? What the fuck am I doing here?
I don't know.
I come and I dragged all my shit out here. The guy's all set up, turning my shit down, and even putting up with your lip. And then I'm not into it, I'm not this, I'm not that. I said I'd fucking do it. I said I don't give a fuck what songs we're playing. Let's fucking do it. I'm here. I come and make the time to be here, so don't give me shit for doing it. If I kept calling every Wednesday when I said I'd be here, be like, hey guys, something I can't do it, blah blah blah, I'd get that. But that ain't the case. I had one deal, and that's the wall. You know?
Right.
So I'm here.
You're right. You're right. I assumed that when you got some more time, you would put more time in here.
We don't suck.
You ever heard of band practice once a week and not suck?
That's what I'm talking about. We still practice twice a week. As long as if you'll commit to at least going and re-listening to the songs that we did pick and remembering his parts and knowing them, we should be fine. You know what I mean? But if not, then it's going to be a bunch of noise, and it is going to sound like this. Well, hey, it's not lit. Can't be having that. I'm about to fucking burn my shit. You about to fucking burn my shit, man. That's it. Yikes.
Can't get back there, can you?
I don't have a fucking list, but no, I'm back here.
You didn't bring it with you?
Obviously, I just wanted to touch on this part. Because at band practice the other night with Justin, you were a little ticked at him But you know, I just wanted to touch on that part. If Headroom, you feel like, well, this is like music that I wrote when I was 12. A, why are you doing it? And then B, I mean, I guess you want to be good if you're going to get on stage again, right?
That's what it is, you know. It's like
perfection.
I don't know that I have anything to back myself up other than my memories, you know.
Right.
But in my memories, we're a fucking tight ass great band, and I have to feel that way again before I want to perform it for somebody. Or what's the point of? I don't like half-assing. I'm not into half-assing.
Right.
And I jumped Justin's ass because we all committed to 2 days a week to get ready for this.
Right.
We all have lots of other things going on, but the other guys have committed to it, and I've committed to it, and he only shows up 1 day a week.
Right.
You know, what can I say? You know, he's that busy, or you know, it's his choice. I was an idiot for jumping his ass. It was really my, you know.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought it through probably.
No, I wasn't blaming you. I just wanted you to touch on it. I mean, that was the only thing. I guess what I'm trying to get at is that if you're playing, regardless, I guess you like, I go back to this thing you said that, you know, it's music that almost like it was good for its time, and it was a moment in time, wasn't it?
I don't know that it's timeless. You know.
Right.
I don't.
Because you guys open for everybody.
I'm in it, and it's you know, it's hard to reflect on yourself sometimes.
Right.
But like I said, you know, that when I reflect on the bands that we've had after that, if I meet somebody new and they want to know what my musical identity is, I don't put in Headroom. You know, I put in FM Underground, or I put in Champagne, and plan that first. And if they eventually it'll come around, well, where's the one band? The one that I've heard of.
Right.
You know, oh, here it is.
Right.
You know.
Why do you do that, you think?
Because I'm more proud of the newer stuff. Like I said,
right.
I mean, to me, that had a place and a time, and I love playing it, don't get me wrong. I just don't.
You don't want to sit in 1999 or 2000.
I don't want to be in one band that does that. As long as I got something else going on, that's fine. I have a lot of creative energy in me, though, that I have to get out somehow. And to be put back in it would kind of be like putting me in a straitjacket, and
right.
You know.
Or still wearing a 1970s leisure suit. We're hoping those.
I would rock one. Yeah, I mean, it just.
Right.
You know, I love it, and I can rock it, and I can find that place in my brain to do it. But it doesn't necessarily represent where I am now, and it's hard to be the age I am and not feel like everything that I'm putting forth is adding to the repertoire, and you know, I don't know how to describe it very well. But
Fuck, you can do all kinds of shit with that.
Good shit. And
had a good time to make.
So Richie, how did you meet Spivey? Can you remember back that far?
Yeah, dude. I can remember.
I told him my version of the demise beginnings, and now you tell him.
I got Jeremy Stone for the first time too.
How old were y'all?
14.
14, 15, something like that.
Me and you were 14, Daniel was 15.
He sat behind the door and laughed. It's pretty funny.
Did you grow up in Yukon?
No.
Where'd you grow up in?
City boy.
The
city. I met Spivey. Daniel was kind of... I played in a punk rock band with Daniel that had no name. And Spivey and Daniel played in a band called Broken Toys. And I guess Daniel kind of played drums and sang or something. Anyways, the guy that we were playing in the punk rock band with got in a fight and broke his hand, so we started playing with Spivey. And it just kind of morphed from that. We got Mike Lee involved, and me and Daniel and Spivey, and then me and Spivey saw these little fruitcakes dropping Daniel off in a Porsche. And so we ran out of my house. It was Justin. And Gabe Barham.
And they were fruitcakes?
And we were like, what the fuck's this? Who the fuck are they? And Daniel was like, well, I think I'm going to play in a band with them. We were like, fuck that. So we ended up recruiting Justin somehow. I don't know.
We didn't want to lose Daniel to the other band, so we let the guy that he wanted to be in the other band.
The other side. The other side.
They were called the other side.
The other side.
They were the other side.
They were the other side. So we brought Justin in, and the agreement was Spivey said Justin could play, but Spivey was the lead guitarist. You remember that?
I do remember that.
And that's how it all started. That's how the line started, and we went from there. Good times, man. Good times.
Yeah.
Good times. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to reminisce on.
So Pat, what place were you at in your life when you met Headroom?
I don't know, I was living off a garage apartment off 22nd Street, and I was big, you know. This is before actually I met Headroom, and I got sick, and the doctor said I had to lose weight, so I went on this diet, blah 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 blah, and everything, and I lost like a crap load of weight, you know. So my life changed instantly, you know. I became a lot more social and everything and things like that. And what happened was that as I got skinny, I started to party more and go out to bars more and things like that. And one of the first bars I've been to in 10 years or so was classic rock. And by chance that night, Headroom was playing. And I remember this girl that was, she's dealing blackjack or something like that there. It was like a poker night or something like that. She said, "You guys stay for this band, they're badass, you know." And you know, they come walking in and all that and everything and stuff, their instruments and stuff and everything. And I kept coming back every Wednesday because they were really, really good. You know, and they had a good fan base and people were very energetic and people loved them and stuff like that. So I brought my other friend the next week and it just kept going from there and there and there. So they came in a big transitional part of my life. Where I went from kind of fat, I was 300 pounds wearing a 46 pant, and I'd gotten skinny, went to the bars, and I met Headroom. So I felt like it was some kind of fate or some weird thing, you know.
How did you meet them personally?
I don't know, I think I was drunk one night, and I brought a Jack Kerouac book, based upon the fact of what Justin would say during the sets and stuff. He'd make quotes about Shakespeare or weird Gothic stuff and everything. And I was like, well, fuck, he's probably a reader. And I heard him say something about Lovecraft in a conversation somewhere. It's like, oh shit, well, this guy's deep, you know, he's a great musician and probably reads or something. I got back from a road trip, which is, for me, to San Francisco was pretty cool and stuff. And it was kind of revolutionary for me. And I got Kerouac tattooed on my arm, you know. I thought, oh, this cat will be down to read this book. I was going to turn him on to this book. And I gave it to him, and he's like, "Hey man, thanks, blah blah blah," and stuff and everything. And then the next week he came back, and it was like, "This book's badass, you know, it's badass and stuff." So we started talking about books and things like that. And I was always like that with Justin. We started like these over time. As I went back into 1812, we started these gay poetry sessions. We were trying to get women or something, you know. But we would write and exchange, because he wrote a little bit too and stuff and everything. And
didn't you read your poetry at Galileo's?
Yeah, because I didn't have the balls to get up. You know? Justin always had the balls to get up. It didn't matter. He always wants a show or something, you know. But yeah, he got up and read one of my poems and stuff. But we were always like that. We were doing sort of quirky, weird things and stuff outside of the band, you know.
Right.
But that's how we connected, pretty much over a book. You know, and he loved it and had that same kind of spirit of adventure and stuff like that. It was pretty cool.
How would you say meeting Headroom changed your social life?
Started run with a band that was, I mean, they were local sort of rock gods, you know. I mean, they were in their heyday and that kind of thing. I felt like, I remember Mike Lee went to a show out in Norman and he said, "Pat, you've been hanging around, man. You're coming back to the house." And I was like, all right. And, you know, I mean, sometimes there were girls there, but mostly it was a sausage fest. No girls were coming back. But I ran with them. You know, I'd go on road trips with them now and again to Dallas and things like that. And lived a wild life, you know, and it was fun. And it was cool to be around a band, you know. Partied a lot and had a great time, but they became great friends after all that. I mean, I felt like they really changed me. They made me more an extrovert than I lived in the past and stuff, and they brought me out of my shell and went to shows, and it's like, oh fuck, I know that band, they're my friends, you know. I remember.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I was like, maybe I always like to be in the background sort of and stuff, and they can get up on stage, and they're really talented, you know, and stuff, and hell, they were on the Cat and the Buzz and all this and stuff, and it was kind of cool. But I mean, I'm more connected with, like, you know, Justin and Jeremy too a little bit, but you know, it was one of those things where finding friends, I think, more than anything, because I lived mostly like a hermit for a long time, just being socially awkward and stuff, and they kind of, I don't know, it was just a great youthful time for me, and I felt like a caterpillar that turned into a butterfly when it all came at the same time. I lost the weight, I met Headroom, and then poof, I got a totally different life that just lived some crazy stuff, and it was fun. Met girls, you know, fucked a lot of girls, and just living a great life. I felt like it was a writer's life, a Kerouac's life, a London's life, a Burroughs' life. It was something cool and fun, and it was my life now. And for that, it gave me an identity, I think, more than anything. That, oh, this is what I want to do, or at least write or something, or do something. And but I mean, to write, I think you got to have these experiences, and Headroom was my experience too. You know, I took a road trip with Spivey to Louisiana that, you know, we went and, you know, partied and had fun, and it was like he was kind of my Neil Cassidy or something, you know.
Right.
I mean, in that sense, or they were kind of amused to me sometimes, you know, in my writing and different things and stuff, and always respected what they did, and their music was awesome. I thought they should have made it. It's just like sometimes in life it just doesn't happen like that. But if anybody deserved it, they did, you know. And now we're still friends to this day, which that says something, you know.
Right.
A lot of us don't party anymore, and you know, we're getting old and things like that. But I think that's what I was doing. Even this documentary was like, I wanted to say that, you know, this time existed. It was badass, and it was revolutionary for me, and it was something else. And
what's your hope for this documentary?
I don't know. I'm just gonna put it. Well, I always, in my head, I'm always thinking it's like a love letter to Headroom. Not a gay love letter, but a love letter to Headroom. One more like an appreciation for their music, and because their music was, to me, it was deep, you know, and Daniel could write some great stuff, and they played melodic, and then they had hard tunes and things like that. Their music was really good, and for the documentary, I'm going to enter into film festivals and see what hits and stuff. But I think it was more that I think you put something on film, it lasts, and hopefully people like it, you know. And I don't think it's just a story about a local band. I think it's a story of life. And, you know, I mean, there's people that want, everyone, you know, I'm sure people that have children look down at their children and think, well, they're going to be president one day, or this. Yeah. You know, things don't work out for 99% of us, you know, but you try, and they tried. It was awesome, and all of us are friends, and that's the beauty of the success of Headroom, was that they brought all these people together, and it still endures. People were all hanging out together, and still, even though our lives may change, people have had kids, people have done all that kind of stuff. It's still, that's what Headroom did. I mean, they brought a lot of people together through their music, and I mean, that's a great thing. I mean, a great thing. A lot of bands can't say that, you know. So, but good stuff. So.
Right.
Gates are closing. The air outside speaks to my skin. I'm alone again, and I blame myself for everything. You were always beautiful. How can I forget that I miss you? Drawing pictures. I'm drawing pictures of years past, the days we had. The shadows of yesterday remind me of what I believe in. The love you gave, you swallowed my emptiness. I'll never forget the face. Your face.
And so when did you start hanging out with Headroom?
It's probably about 2001. My girlfriend and I, we had broken up at the time. And before then, I just hung out with my girlfriend pretty much all the time, and that was my life. And naturally, I'm more of an introvert, so I didn't have this huge group of friends. And after we broke up, I was just kind of by myself. And Justin had asked me out a few times before then, but I hadn't went. And after that, I decided I was going to make a serious effort to get to know my brother, because Justin and I, we didn't grow up together. So at that point, it was probably about summer of 2001, I started hanging out with Justin in the band, and they had recently moved into 1812 Gatewood. And
so what was that house like? I mean, was it another world, or was it, you hung out with bands before, or no?
No,
just kind of just introverted and everything.
Yeah, it was really my introduction to a social life. I remember one of the first times I went over to 1812, I hadn't drank before. I had I think when I was 21, I had bought some wine coolers once, but yeah, I had never drank before, and I had some Coors Light, and I didn't know how to drink. So I'd just guzzled them down as fast as I could, and I was looking around, why aren't they finished with their beers yet? And I got drunk really quickly. And I remember Gabe was over there, and I think I threw a football at him. He's like, what's wrong with your brother? Why is he throwing a football at me? And yeah, I had a few incidents falling down the stairs on purpose, but
cool.
Yeah.
So what did you think of them when you first heard their music? Did you think they were tight and good and stuff? Now, was this Headroom, or was this Demise, or is this...
When I first went over there, it was Amniotic.
Ah, I see.
And at the time, they were actually, the first time I saw them play, they were called Demise. I saw them in Yukon. It was a Hastings parking lot. And my parents were there. My brother Jarrett was there. And... yeah, that was the first time I'd ever saw them play live. I think Jason Thomas was the bass player at the time. And then when I started really going out with them, it was mid-2001 when they were Amniotic. They were kind of a heavy band at the time. And...
were they living like the rock and roll lifestyle, or were they, I don't know.
I didn't know what the rock and roll lifestyle was, but for me, that was it.
Right.
And I remember they were really heavy. I really like Lost and Found, but the heaviness, I was just more interested in the group, the community. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget, there was a Spooky Fruit Amniotic show. Amniotic was Headroom, basically. It was at the Blue Note. And towards the end of the show, they were trading off. They'd play a few songs. Spooky Fruit would play a few songs, and then Amniotic would play a few songs. And then... I remember Amniotic, they introduced the Headroom songs. I remember playing To Crash the Moon, Invisible Value, and I was like, wow, this is totally different. I mean, it was drastic. It was like a whole new band to me.
Right.
I couldn't, it was like a total transformation. I was like, wow, these songs are awesome. I didn't know I hadn't heard them before.
Right.
And after that, a few months later, January 2002, they became Headroom, and that's when things just took off.
Yeah. And so they got big shows. I mean, you were at all the shows, weren't you, pretty much? Even the big shows? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could name some of the ones, like the big shows that you thought, wow, you felt like they were going to make it, or you felt like, wow, their star's rising,
I think one of the first big ones they did was Puddle of Mud, mm-hmm. and they were actually Amniotic still just right before they became Headroom. It was late 2001 in Wichita, and that's when they were with DCF Concerts, and that was the first big one, and then they just started getting more of these big shows, like with Chevelle and name drop all these things, but I felt they fit in on the big stage personally.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. It seemed. And so, how did your relationship? Did it grow with your brother? I mean, did you get to know your brother or your half brother?
Yeah, I mean, there's many nights. going about my social life. I didn't have one beforehand, and the one thing I knew is I might not have this huge group of friends to go out with, but it's Friday or Saturday night, I didn't have anything to do. Well, I can always go to 1812 Gatewood and hang out with Headroom, and that's what I did. I probably pretty much almost every weekend I hung out with them, and I go to the parties, get drunk, hang out, have a good time, and then end up sleeping in Justin's walk-in closet each weekend. And
were you shocked at what you'd become? I mean, in a good way. I mean, of getting out of your shell, sort of, and what they kind of did for you. I mean,
not shocked, more pleasantly surprised. It was just a huge change, going from no social life, just kind of locked in, to being introduced to all these people. I mean, I always say, like, half of my Facebook friends, or more than that, I met from someone I met in Headroom, or someone that I met through someone I met through Headroom. I mean, probably 90% of them is from that band. And that's a huge deal to me. If I never would have went out and ventured and met Headroom, who knows what would have happened. I'd probably be a hermit right now. I mean, I can't even believe I'm doing this interview.
Where did you grow up at, Daniel?
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. And so how did you come into contact first with Spivey? I've heard his story. What's your rendition of it?
7th grade.
7th grade.
Yeah, at Yukon Middle School.
Really?
And it was in music class.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We sat down and started talking about Metallica, and we argued that Lars on one, I was saying, he does that with his feet. Oh, he does it with his forearm. That was the argument.
You were right.
I thought you were going to say
yeah, I was right. I was right. But we started, you know, we discovered that we both were trying to learn to play guitar at that same time, you know, so we became friends and rocked out to Motley Crue and shit like that, and Nirvana, and learned a bunch of shit.
Y'all rocked out to, like, what was your first CD?
Temple of the Dog.
Temple of the Dog. With your little...
But anyway, then I moved because my childhood, I went to every fucking school in the city. And then, you know, so we separated and then kind of got back together. So I started jamming with him again when he, I guess what, we were 9th grade, maybe?
Out at his house? Did you go out to his house? Or?
No, yeah, at his dad's garage. But he came to me with like a tape and was like, learn all these covers and da-da-da-da-da. And so I learned them, and we played. My first singing show was at the Mix.
So, where's the Mix at?
It was on 50th, Northwest 50th and MacArthur.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I ran sound.
Yeah, Mike was there, ran sound. I had long hair, Spive had long hair. I was scared as fuck. I was like, stood there with this, like a statue. I think he has the footage somewhere.
I brought my,
Sitting there doing this to my,
I brought my drums too, I think. Austin used my drums. Y'all had Austin playing drums.
So what were you doing at the time, Mike? Do you remember?
I was actually playing with my pops in a country band.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How old were you about that time?
I was probably 18.
Really? 18
or 19, yeah.
So what's
they played at Miller Stock or something like that, some kind of Yukon high school thing. And I went out there, same thing, and brought the drums. I played drums,
right.
And Spivey was singing and playing guitar.
Yeah.
And then we did another, like the next year we went back to Miller Stock and I started playing with y'all.
Yeah, that's
I was actually playing in a metal band called Insanity. And then I was playing
here in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, and I was playing, like, I had a big old like metal drum set, you know, it was kind of like this. And then I was also taking half the drum set and like playing country with my dad to make money, you know, because I didn't really have a job, so I figured I could make money playing country in bars. So I started, you know, getting money that way, and then these guys come and they didn't think that I would play with them. They're like, you know,
because you were older. You were older, right?
Yeah, he was older.
I'm 5 years older.
We suck.
Yeah, when they were little, like, you know, 13-year-olds or whatever, I was getting dressed to play in this. I was playing in a band called what's the name of that band?
Beggars Alley.
Beggars Alley, and we did covers and rock stuff, you know, and like wore like tight spandex. Yeah, dude, I had hair down to here, you know.
But me and Spike thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, man, they thought it was awesome. You know?
So who asked who to join the band? Did you want to?
I was playing with Insanity and living with them. this dude Tommy Thompson and all them over there on 30th and Penn, and they come and asked me to play. And
with Rich.
Yeah, with Rich.
By this time, I done went and I went to Western Heights and I met Richie. We became friends, and he was playing bass, and so I was like,
well, so we
started jamming. We hit him up, and then and then I hit up Spive because he played guitar and he got way better than I did. So I was like, hey.
And where did we play? That's when we
played at Richie's.
We played in Richie's bedroom,
over
off of
like
10th Street.
Couple years.
Really?
No, not that long.
Yeah, bullshit.
Probably like a year.
No, dude, it was for a while, and then.
So who was on? Spivey was on vocals at this time, and who took you take over or no? Yeah, and when did you take over?
I was just singing.
Just singing.
Yeah, Spivey was playing guitar through 2 little shitty practice amps.
Yeah.
Richie played bass, and I sang through a Crate guitar practice amp.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I had a piece of shit drum set that he was playing on because his drum set was at
the country gig.
Because
on the weekends I still did the country gig.
I see.
Until we started to get serious enough that we booked like the Samurai or somewhere. And they were all underage, but somehow I got them in there. And then that's when, I basically quit the country thing and went full-time with these guys. And that's when we were like,
and by then, that's when we actually did a show with Justin's old band. I forgot what they were called.
We did?
Yeah, the Outsiders or the Outer Limits or something.
The Outer Limits or something.
Some shit.
The Other Side.
The Other Side, right. It was him and Gabe.
I called them the Outer Limits.
His cousin. And we did like a show or something, I don't remember.
And Justin.
At that same place, the Mix.
Right.
And then me and Justin started talking in the parking lot.
Yeah, and he wanted to come play.
Yeah, and I hit him up to come play, and shit. Richie and Spive were pissed.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't.
Well, Spive.
I guess they felt a little threatened.
Yeah, Spive wanted to be the only guitarist,
I see.
And he wanted to play leads.
And then once that got going, we actually went back to Spive's.
Yeah, we played in Spivey's garage.
Spivey's garage, right.
Had to deal with the wasp nest and
with
stuff.
Justin.
And all these guys gone over Tekla all the time. They're like,
when we did that Samurai show, we played with 36 inches, and Spive's amp that he had at the time fucking blew up.
Really?
Yeah,
that's Samurai.
He bought a new amp. He finally got out of the little crappy practice amps and bought a real amp, a combo amp, and the first show it smoked. It was awesome.
this reunion show. How do you think it's going?
It's going slowly, but it's going.
Are you excited about it, or are you not excited about it?
Yeah.
How do you feel? Like
Old.
Old? Do you? How old are you now?
32.
32. Look good still.
What? It's like 22 or 23 when we started the band.
Right.
Yeah. Or Headroom, you know.
Headroom, yeah. And then what other bands were you in after Headroom?
Champagne, me and Mike and Spy did that. And then me and Spy and Grant was playing drums. We did FM Underground.
FM Underground. Just locally around the city? Did you go other states and stuff like that?
It was locally here. Champagne started in LA.
I see. Cool. So when is the reunion show?
I don't think we set a date yet.
You haven't?
I think we're going for like June.
Okay.
So
cool.
Everybody wanted to try to make it May 18th for the 1812 deal, but I don't think we're gonna make it.
Not gonna happen.
Ready in time.
No.
We have a long ways to go. Just like that song, Velocity. We haven't played that with all four of us probably in 6 years.
Wow.
And maybe not longer, because even when Headroom was going, we didn't play that song. We cut it off the set list for like 2 years.
Really? Yeah. Why was that?
Because we had other ones that we added in. You know what I mean? So that we thought were better.
He's going to hit both of them on it.
Who is?
Tony. What? He's like, why don't you hit both of them? Pay 25. I'm like, good luck.
Oh, for money.
Go grab them titties. The teats. Milk the teats.
I didn't know Tony was here.
Yeah, he just walked by us. He's asking me for money. Fuck that. I thought him Pat was gonna pay.
Shit.
I thought him Pat had to pay.
Isn't Eric the producer of this shit? Where the fuck is he at?
I said, hey, we're the guy with the camera. He's got a big head.
Fucking
He's got 50 on it.
So Mike, what do you think about this? What do you guys think about how your first band practice as opposed to now? Better or worse or same?
It's getting better for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, of course, because when we first started doing it, it was terrible.
Right, was it?
So I mean, it can only get better.
So much that we almost decided not to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
So at the first band practice, you guys were like, fuck it, or what?
Well, yeah, because we couldn't hardly sing it, we couldn't play it, you know, it just sounded horrible.
Really?
And plus, you know, I haven't been playing drums for like 2 years.
I don't think everybody was sure if they even wanted to do it yet.
Right.
But I think as we got going, and you know, even when Justin's not here, the rhythm section, us three getting tighter, and us singing, you know, getting our vocal range to climb back up some, it's starting to come to us now to where it's better. And you know, then it starts getting exciting. Once it starts to sound tight, it's like, all right, you know, then you want to do it.
Right,
you know?
right.
But
was it hard without Justin here, Daniel? You think, or is it just like
I think it's easier for the rhythm section.
Right.
It is.
Yeah, because then he just comes in and hopefully knows his part and tightens it up with us. You know, whereas if he's here trying to learn it while we're trying to learn it, it's just a bunch of noise.
Right. I see what you're saying. Okay.
It is easier though. I mean, you know, so it's kind of a good thing that he's been doing his deal and busy and whatever. But now, you know, the date is drawing closer. We don't have a venue or anything like that yet.
What are you guys thinking of? What kind of venue? I mean, where do you guys think
you'll be? One with the PA.
I want to get one
That's it?
I want to get one with sound, and I want to get one that'll hold, you know, 150 people or something like that. Yeah. And you know, Tony was just.
I think Luna would be cool if we could get in there, but
they won't let us in here.
Why not?
Maybe.
I have to try.
I didn't think that.
I think they got its new ownership.
Yeah, I don't think they do heavier bands or loud, heavy bands anymore. I mean, I'm not real sure of that, but.
You will be by my side. you having a time out there or what? Once again, we are Headroom. Very glad to be here. Don't forget, it's if you wait for the bartender, because they've been working hard for their fucking drunk ass. Unlike the door, you have to believe to achieve. Believe in yourself and you can do anything. That was a good song.
Okay, so I want you to read the letter that you wrote Headroom. And what year was this that you wrote Headroom, this letter?
I wrote this in early 2004.
Okay.
It's Eric Hogan here reporting from Richland. I'm just writing this letter to say a few things. I have a problem writing long letters, so I'll try my best not to write a novel, although I can't promise anything. Now here's why I went to so many of your shows over the past few years. You all are doing something I've wanted to do since I was 6 years old and got my first guitar. The same type of music and everything, even more so with the music you've created as Headroom. I've watched you play so many times and I wish I could be part of that. I guess that's why I've asked to play on stage with you the times that I have. There's nothing more I would like to do than play in a band. The only thing that's prevented me from doing that all these years is being so shy, I hate that word, and a desire for something definite as I can't stand failure. Meaning I couldn't imagine playing in a band and then eventually having to give up and go back to a regular job. I guess that's why I've been going to school, so if I do have a regular job, at least I'll make money. But I respect each of you for going on to your dream regardless of the obstacles. Like I said, there's nothing more I'd rather do than play music. Next up, I can't believe it, but I've seen you guys play more times than I can count, and that's coming from someone that lives in Richland. Not to mention going to a Headroom show at Teddy's right after having chemo that same day. What's that? I guess I'll make it official since I think I've only told Justin the details. Yes, last September I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma to be exact. Stage 4 happens to be the final stage. I just completed my cycle of 8 treatments. Isn't it ironic I'm going to school for nuclear medicine? That PET scan I was telling Justin about, the one I'm going to perform on patients, is the test I'm having on April 9th to see if my cancer is gone or not. Then my doctor wants me to have a bone marrow transplant where I'll have to stay in the hospital for over a month. He told me I have a 60% chance of relapse-free survival if it's gone. He didn't give me any numbers if it isn't gone, probably because I won't have much of an outlet. That's one reason I went to your band practice. Although it was fairly short, it might be one of the last chances I get to see you play again, and I wanted to take advantage of that. Of course, I might end up fine, but when a doctor tells you you have a 40% chance of dying in the next couple of years if the cancer is gone, then you take full advantage of the time you have left. Your music's one of the few things that can make me happy during such a crappy time. Being hooked up to an IV and being delivered chemotherapy in a room full of dying people for 6 to 8 hours just sucks. But I was able to go home and listen to music, and 1812 was one that I listened to several times. That helped me escape and forget what I was going through, and I want to thank you for that. Man, I hope this letter doesn't sound sappy. I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate everything and think your music's great, and wanted to show my appreciation by writing this letter. Well, I guess I'll go now, as I probably bored you enough. If you ever want to get a hold of me, you know how to contact me. Hopefully I'll get to see a lot more of your shows and have them be at larger venues such as the Ford Center with an album on the charts. I hope you guys know I would do anything I could to help you make it. I think I've told Daniel this before, but if I do end up dying and have any pull in heaven, I would do anything to make sure you guys break and are able to make a comfortable living doing this. Maybe those are just words to you, but I promise it would be something I'd do if it were possible. I hope I end up fine. I can't even begin to tell you how much I miss being normal. But if it's not meant to be, then I'm ready to go if that's what's in the cards. Either way, I'll still be pulling for you. People often don't say things they mean to or want to the people they care about, and then it's too late. That's why I wrote this now. Maybe I could have said this all 5 years in the future, but in case I can't, I wanted to get it out. I'll talk to you later, and I'm sorry about the length of this email. Eric Hogan.
I was just saying, it started like this inner circle kind of thing, and then there's all these pockets of people that kind of went to school with each other and knew each other some way, that would, one or two of them would find our band, and then the next thing you know, we would have a whole other group of people.
Right.
And it just like, it was almost like a flower. It was like there was a center part and then all these petals that grew off of it.
Right.
And then it just turned into this huge circle of all these people that we knew.
Right.
And it's weird how in a decade's time, you know, the core part of the flower is still there. All the people who met each other through that band and through, you know, the experiences in life that all of us shared is one thing that we all have in common.
Right.
It's the one common we do have, really.
Right.
Which, I mean, to me, that's awesome. It's almost, I explained it to Daniel one day, like drinking Kool-Aid. Like, you know, like people say, don't, you know, political, don't drink the Kool-Aid or whatever. It's the same thing. We were selling Kool-Aid, and not only was everybody drinking it, but we were drinking it.
Right.
And we were all...
Were you selling it, or were you just doing it for the music?
Well, what I mean by selling it, not necessarily for money. What I'm saying is we believed in something, and we put it out there, and everybody else believed in it with us.
Right.
And so it's like almost as if there was a metaphorical punch being passed around that everybody drank.
Right.
And it made everybody come together for this common goal.
Did you think the music was special when you were doing it?
Definitely. I mean, everything was at its best when we were doing that, obviously, and then doing, you know, national shows, because like I said, that's where the outer petals of the flower came from, was doing bigger shows.
Right.
And it definitely, that time period was when the band sounded the best, played the tightest, had the best songs overall, and that the crowd base and the fan base was at its biggest. So,
right. How'd you feel when you were doing it? Was it your soul?
You know, it's different every night. You know, every time would be kind of like its own little mini episode of things. So I tried to soak in as much of it as I could, just because I knew it was going to be forever. You know, some of those shows were unreal. You know, I mean, it's like things that I dreamed about all my life, being able to walk down tunnels of backstages and seeing huge car can lights by the hundreds, all pointed at you. There's a certain feeling, like, man, it really is true that there's no other drug that can give you that same high or that same feeling that you get.
Were you getting that from the fans, or were you getting from the music, or the audience participation, or? Not even on a lot of the big shows, we wouldn't even necessarily have audience participation at first. It was just more of all the times you go to concerts as a fan,
every time I go to a concert, you know, most people go and they're like, oh, this band's badass. Every time I go, it makes me Jones to be where them people are. It almost bugs me sometimes to go to concerts because I'm like, I'm literally jealous of the musicians that are on stage.
The adoration, you think? You have a little ego?
And it's just like, because I always felt like I literally was born to be in that spot, under that light. Right. And that circumstances in the world hasn't necessarily landed me there. And, you know, and I've come to a lot of different terms on all of that, but it still has never erased the feeling that that's where I'm genuinely supposed to be.
Okay, so as we were saying about Headroom, and it's been how long since the last time you guys practiced together?
Early April.
Early April, and were you're just too busy, you think, or was it the past?
I was completely too busy. I was totally too busy. After you'd left, they're like, hey, you know, we need to talk. And I already knew. I was like,
and this is for the reunion show.
Yeah, it's for the reunion show. And we just got done rehearsing. I hadn't been there in like 2 weeks because the 2 times they wanted to rehearse, I had gigs with my other bands. And I played this festival down in Bricktown, and then I did my first Psychic Milk gig in Oklahoma City at BCD's the other time. And then I'd have to sit down with the CDs, and Eric had made me one where he slowed down the solo and all that, you know. Then I got to remember how I played it because you can hear it, and I try to play how it sounds to me, but you can't do it like that. I had to remember how I did it, you know. Right. And anyway, I sucked. I had some songs I did well on, others not so well. And then they're like, we need you to put more time in. We need you to start coming out more. And The Wall had just finished. And then Spidey was like, well good, now you start coming on Saturdays. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Right. Because now I'm that big. The Wall is a fucking big thing, you know what I mean? Right. Shit, I got a free Saturday now? Well, I'm keeping it for myself, you know? I want a day to have a life. You know? Right. I'm always running around, Pat. I don't get home until like 3 in the morning. I'm driving in my car all the time. I got to be here, hauling in everywhere. But keeps me sane. Yeah, so we go out in the back and talk, and I'm like, well, guys, this just isn't a good time for me. I've got way too much shit going on. I got finals. I've got 2 bands aside from this, and all this other shit. You know, I don't have time. Maybe July would be better for me, because I knew I was going to San Francisco too, and I was going to be gone. Well, at the time, me and Goat were going to go to do this big tour at the coast and all that, but they ended up going to Ireland, so I kept my coast plans. And as it's going on, I just don't want to. I don't have time for one. I mean, I told you everything I got going on, but I just don't have that strong of a desire to. That's something that I did a long time ago, and what I do now brings me much more joy and pleasure. Not to say that Headroom was bad or anything. I loved it at the time. I was very proud of it. I was, you know, it was a good feeling. And I love those guys. I still do. But, God, to spend 2 days a week working on something that I don't listen to that kind of music so much. I don't play that style. I don't do that. It takes away from these other things that are exciting and joyful to me. You know, the songwriting gig, the acting, everything else, you know. And you gotta learn to say no sometimes, and I had to say no to that. And I figured that, you know.
Did you say that when they talked to you? Or?
I didn't say I wasn't gonna do it. I said, look, book the date in September. I'll do September. And but then they were like, well, you're just gonna say you can't do it. Then, whereas if they would have probably done it, I would have done it. But since it didn't happen, I was just like, well, you know, what can you do? And it was pleasant. It wasn't, nobody was pissed when we talked about it. And I was like, look, you guys are paying for this room, and you know, I don't want to waste your money or your time. But in a way, I don't feel bad, because I said from the very beginning, I don't want to be Headroom. I don't want to do this. I didn't even want to do a reunion show, but I just went along with it because everybody was all, you know, gung ho about.
Do you think it would have been kind of almost cartoonish? You know, and
no,
you know what I'm
I'm
saying?
sure it'd been fun. I'm sure it'd been fun. I mean, if I really wanted to and wanted to get serious about it, I'm sure I'd have learned my shit. I would come home at 3 in the morning and stayed up till 4 in the morning and just run through every couple of nights. I think it was more I was enjoying just hanging out with the guys again, you know. But I'm doing other things that are far more exciting to me as an artist and a musician and stuff. And I've never stopped. Whenever Headroom broke up, I've never stopped. I went off to do something else, and then I got back here and started something, and that goes, and I've started this and doing this. And I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what's going to happen. But I'll probably be staring at a screen or sitting in front of that piano or playing somewhere, you know. And maybe the other guys didn't get that so much, you know. I know that Daniel had FM Underground in Champaign, and Spivey did that, and Mike was in Champaign. And then I know Spivey did his cover gig that he had. But Mike was more like, you know, this was our, man, Headroom was the best, you know, and that was the highlight. And I'm like, well, maybe for you it was, but God, it hasn't ended for me. The people may change and the styles and this and that, but God, I love it. I love it, man. I'm doing shit I've never done before, and it never ends. And I'm playing with all these different cats, all these different people, and I love it. I love it. I'm happy in my busyness. You know, not to say that, I don't know. I was really hoping we would just get together, write some new songs, and call it something else, and just put an EP out. That's good.
Right.
But I think other people had other designs. And thought that, well, if we just get everybody together, they'll see how great it is and want to do it.
Right.
I get kind of bored playing it.
Yeah.
Right. You know. Now, granted, maybe if we stayed together, it'd been a different thing, and you evolve naturally. But
right.
Yeah. So it's not appealing to me to do it now.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, like I said, though, I love the guys, and I'm proud of what we did. For our time, we were really good. We did, and we did a lot of things to be proud about.
Right.
You know. Like I said, I got no beef with anybody. I love everybody.
Right.
It's a good tune. It's a good time.
Yeah. So you always feel like I'm talking about from maybe your psyche that you need to keep creating or doing something different or see what pops, or I mean, do you want to be, I asked Mike this question, did you ever want to be kind of famous, or did you want to, or do you think you'll ever be famous, or do you think you'll ever hook up with somebody that...
I think that we're all famous in our own ways. It's just how big your circle is. You know?
Right.
You know, you're over at, say we're over at somebody's house, Brian Deneen walks in. Hey, Brian, yeah, man, what's hey, Deneen's here, you know?
Right.
Well, he's famous to us.
Right.
You can say, well, they're your friends. So, it's another fucking sentient human being, you know?
Right.
You're famous to whoever, or I'll see Wayne Coyne walk into a bar, you know, and it sounds like a joke. Wayne Coyne walks into a bar, and Erica Badu shows up, a lawsuit. And, you know, and he's got his circle, you know, and to me, I mean, everybody's like, oh yeah, I want to be famous. You like to be recognized for your art,
right? For
what you do. I mean, that's what we do. Art's fall in love with your own idea. You know, but it's not art if you don't get it out there.
Right.
And as far as the fame thing, you know, yeah, I would like it because, you know, it'd be nice to be able to have a career doing what you love to do. I'd like people to come to my shows and maybe go buy some music or buy a shirt or something like that. But you know, I would be doing it even if I wasn't.
Did you think you were going to be famous in Headroom? Or were you going to make it?
Oh yeah, that's for sure. We're going. My mom's like, well, maybe you should have a backup plan. I'm like, why, Mom? We're going to make it. And in a way, we did.
Yeah.
I feel.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, just to our friends, I mean, all the things that we accomplished, the shows that we did, the places we traveled, the experiences that we had. We're living it. We're living it. And I haven't stopped living it since then. I might have downtimes here and there, but now I realize the value of those downtimes because you're building something new to go boomerang it out to the world, and then, you know, know, and I still get it. I still get it in a way. You know, I go out and play, and then guys in my band, you know, they're friends and all that. And, you know, I may not know all of them, but you know, they love the music. They dig it. They get into what we're doing, and you know, I mean, it's awesome. It's so cool. It's fun, and even if it's that, even if it's Psychic Milk, or if it's doing the Ghost stuff, or if it's doing a country gig, or going out to San Francisco and jamming with some guys in their kitchen, you know, and
more about life and joy and the music and.
That's part of it. If I don't do that, I'm depressed. I can't be like the people that are. What have you been doing? Working. I get that. I mean, who fucking doesn't do that, right? But what are you doing? Have you had any epiphanies? Have you any cool experiences? Any tales? I think it's all about tales. At the end of it, even if I'm broke, penniless, you know, but what stories do I have to tell?
Right.
You know this.
Right.
It's all about their stories.
Exactly. Right.
You know, and
life experience. And
yeah, I can tell a bunch of Headroom tales and stuff like that. People will gather around my delusions, you know, going to tell a story. And yeah, so that's fine. I want to be able to keep doing what I love to do as long as I possibly can. And I feel that, you know, you keep doing it. What was it Willie Nelson says? Even if you fail at something long enough, you become legendary.
That's a great quote.
Yeah, so I feel that anywhere I can go, I can be in anybody's band, or I can go to any town and get together with some people and make some stuff happen. And, you know, not to, I'm this, not, or whatever, you know, I mean, it's because I got a passion for it. You know? And it's beautiful. You know?
And so there it is. The story of Headroom. I never really needed Headroom to get back together for this documentary. I'd come to the conclusion that it was much like life. You have these banging, dreamy snapshots of singular moments of the most happiest of times. And for me, I'll be eternally grateful for the music they brought into my life. I'm very happy that I could etch these boys into local band history, that they existed, and that time existed. Today, Mike and Daniel Lee continue to create music together, starting a new band, and continue to write. Jeremy Spivey continues to jam with his new band and plans to tour soon. And Justin continues with his band Psychic Milk, along with acting and many other projects, being the true Renaissance man that he is. But as for me, it will always be Headroom. Because these were our days. And to have those days, I'm eternally grateful.
Gates are closing. The air outside speaks to my skin. I'm alone again, and I blame myself for everything. You were always beautiful.